Welcome. In this video we are discuss following topic. Ijtihad, Taqlid, international trade and the function of international organizations. Ijtihad. The requirements for Ijtihad are: 1. Its exercise cannot be done on certain issues such as on the existence of Allah. 2. Judge, mujtahid, must be qualified. Prerequisites to be a Maslaha. Al-Mursalah is a concept in traditional Islamic law. The word Maslaha is taken from the root word, saluha, or salaha, which means to be good or to repair or to do good. Mujtahid. A. Practicing Muslim. B. Honest and reliable person. C. Knowledge of Quran. D. Knowledge of Sunnah of Prophet. Pbuh. E. Understanding of the principles of Ijma and Qiyas. Taqlid. Doctrine of Taqlid requires the adherence to the legal principles established by the legal scholars of the 2nd and 3rd centuries of Islam and the refusal to further develop through the use of Ijtihad. Concept of usury in Sharia. The word used for interest in the Quran is Riba in Arabic. The literal meaning of riba is excess or increase. In Islamic terminology, interest means effortless profit or profit which comes free from compensation or that extra earning obtained that is free of exchange. International trade and the function of international organizations. International law. International law is the term commonly used for referring to laws that govern the conduct of independent nations in their relationships with one another. Types of international law. A. Public international law. Public international law is the body of rules that is legally binding on states in their interactions with other states, individuals, organizations and other entities. B. Private international law, or conflict of laws, which addresses the questions of in which legal jurisdiction may a case be heard, and the law concerning which jurisdictions apply to the issues in the case. International trade and domestic laws. International trade is the exchange of capital, goods, and services across international borders or territories. In most countries, such trade represents a significant share of gross domestic product, GDP. However, countries enact laws to protect their domestic market and/or industry. These laws sometimes act as a barrier to the free international trade. Modes to protect domestic market. The country's laws act as a barrier to free international trade in order to protect their domestic market. The most common barriers to trade to protect their domestic market from foreign competition are tariffs, quotas, and non-tariff barriers. A. Tariffs. A tax imposed on imported goods and services. Tariffs are used to restrict trade, as they increase the price of imported goods and services, making them more expensive to consumers. B. Quotas. A quota is a government-imposed trade restriction that limits the number, or monetary value, of goods that can be imported or exported during a particular time period. Quotas are used in international trade to help regulate the volume of trade between countries. C. Non-tariff barriers. A non-tariff barrier is a form of restrictive trade where barriers to trade are set up and take a form other than a tariff. Non-tariff barriers include quotas, embargoes, sanctions, levies and other restrictions and are frequently used by large and developed economies. Private international law, conflict of laws. The rules of private international law are the outcome of different state laws which are enacted by their legislatures. The countries, in order to overcome these differences, enter into treaties and conventions to regulate their matters. For example, Rome Convention 1980. International trade and the function of international organizations. International organizations have a major role in the international trade and the drafting of international law. The main organizations concerned with drafting of international law are United Nations. The United Nations is an international organization founded in 1945. It is currently made up of 193 member states. Each of the 193 member states of the United Nations is a member of the General Assembly. States are admitted to membership in the UN by a decision of the General Assembly upon the recommendation of the Security Council. The UN states that its member states should codify and develop international law. The two bodies in the UN involved in drafting international law are the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law and International Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for watching.